Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 2 of History 105 Online, Western Civilization. This week we're going to be talking about the Renaissance and the Reformation, as well as some wars of religion that occurred because of the different views that arose during this time period. Now, you'll learn more about that in the lectures, but one of the things that I wanted to point out is one of the requirements for this course is to turn in a weekly historical skills worksheet. Now, last week during week 1, we learned about the 4 different historical skills that are required in a history course: chronological reasoning, comparison and contextualization, crafting of arguments, and historical interpretation and synthesis. So we read through those, what the importance of all of them were. And this week, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be filling out a worksheet for the chapters that you're reading in the textbook and in the Niall Ferguson book. So how does this work? So when you open up the week 2 module, you'll see this notifications that says, please print the following HSW for the week. So you'll click here on the Historical Skills Worksheet 105. And what it does is it'll open up a file within the screen showing you, the file that you're going to be completing here. So give it a second while it opens up here. Okay, so here it is. So what I would suggest is downloading the Historical Skills Worksheet and then printing the worksheet. And then using as you do your reading, and answer the questions as you read through here. Now, these are broad questions, and I don't want you to give the definite, the definition of what they are. Don't tell me what causation is, or what periodization is, or what contingency is. Talk about what those are and how they're talked about in the textbook and in the reading. So what are examples of historical causation? This is large processes, multiple causes, unintended consequences, and contingency. Now, last week we talked about the great chain of being and how it kind of organized society, and I talked about that in the lectures. This week we're going to be talking about the Renaissance and the Reformation, and one of the ways that the society and people in general and politics and everything started to kind of break this chain of being and kind of reorganize things. So this is historical change, historical causation. So what caused that? Your textbook gives lots of examples of how that works. There's also some causes for the creation of institutions that are talked about in Niall Ferguson's work as well. So just make sure you jot down information as you read through it. The idea is to practice that idea of chronological reasoning and why we wrote a new chapter on this section. You also will be doing skill number 2, comparison and contextualization. What was distinctive or historically significant? Crafting an argument, like what kind of sources were used, were they primary, were they secondary, how do we know? And what is the historical interpretation and synthesis? Now, of course, there's no right or wrong answers to any of these. The idea is for you to practice those skills and for you to understand how to use them as a student and as a historian. So once that's completed, I would suggest either scanning it, or you can even type in your answers to the text box and just turning that in. The best way to do this is to use an app on your phone. There's lots of free scanning apps that will take a picture and turn into a black and white image that you can download as a PDF or a JPEG that you can upload. If you have any questions about this or any concerns, please let me know. And that's how you fill out the Historical Skills Worksheet. These are worth 5 points every week. May not seem like much, but in the long run, when you've got 29 chapters that you're reading in the textbook and 16 weeks worth of these, they can add up to quite a bit. So I look forward to reading through your Historical Skills Worksheet. And once again, aside from that, excuse me, you will also have a reading quiz as well as a discussion on competition. So that's your assignments for the week, and I look forward to reading through everything and discussing these topics with you. Have a wonderful week, and have a good Martin Luther King Jr. weekend as well.